Hey, welcome to Sports Lagniappe. I'm John Burke. Thanks for joining us here today from Ruffino's Italian Restaurant on Highland Road. Our first story today is about a local boy who has certainly done well. Michael Clayton finished up his NFL career following the 2012 season. He had a Pro Bowl, a World Championship. May not be in football anymore, but that passion still runs through his blood. Michael, from Baton Rouge, talk about what your recruiting process was like, because I don't believe you were intent on LSU from the get-go. Talk about the process of being from Baton Rouge, being recruited by LSU.
Well, the heavy recruiting started kind of like my senior year. Coach Saban had just arrived my senior year. The speculation behind me going to LSU was that I wasn't going to go because where I'm from, people in my community from the past, years ago, didn't look at LSU as a dominant university. And for Coach Saban to come on board and let it be known that, what he believed in was going to take place at the university, and he really sold me on that. And I became a believer of everything that he said, and he just really stood out. He told me a very valuable quote. He said, "Make a 40-year decision, not a 4-year decision." And at that moment when he told me that, because I wanted to go to Florida State behind Warrick Dunn and win a national championship just like Warrick Dunn did, and just by Coach Saban saying that kind of brought everything in perspective to me, the greatness of what it would mean to my state, how I would feel being able to come to LSU, turn this program around, and follow through with all of our goals and expectations and winning a national championship. And I just really wanted to experience that if possible, and we believed in it, and we accomplished it.
Sort of started the beginning of this great 13-14 season run that the Tigers have had. That's got to be a source of pride for you.
It is. I take a great deal of pride in being the type of player, the type of person that I am. I just got out of a 2-hour meeting with Zach and a couple of the receivers and running backs, and just sat in and was really able to give them what I learned, the little small things about leadership, about holding each other accountable, taking advantage of these meeting rooms. Those were something that we did, and I think in those moments, those small moments, we set ourselves apart from any other team that was preparing in the SEC, and to be able to go on to endure an NFL career and to see your university soak up the same values and same principles that you played on and set a standard for. It's a great feeling. I take a lot of pride in doing what I can for my university, because this is my home. It's always going to be my home. I'll always be welcomed into those doors, and that was one of the things that I wanted to give back to my university in terms of being more than just a player, being a leader, having great character, and showing the young guys how to sustain a great legacy that we were able to create.
You had an illustrious career at LSU. You played a big part in the Bluegrass Miracle as well. Talk a little bit about that.
It was a back and forth game. We had some up and downs. We had a great halftime talk by Coach Saban. We got ripped pretty bad. And came back out and really had to set a different tone. And we came out, it was a situation where everybody's heads were down. We were used to playing hard for 60 minutes, and we had this one last opportunity. I remember I was able to catch a 25-yard dig. Nobody shows that on the clips of the Bluegrass Miracle to get us out. We called timeout, and everybody knew their responsibilities when we had our final play called, and we didn't know exactly what was going to happen. We just knew that we had to finish and finish hard. And in that particular moment, 75 yards out, it's easy to say there's no way, but one of the things that we were good on were finishing. And nobody ended up where they were supposed to be, but because we gave great effort, we saw the end result of us completing that pass, and it being one part of my greatest moments in my career, and as well as the greatest moment in LSU's, one of their greatest moments in LSU's career as well.
Was there a game in college that stuck out as what you would call your best game?
I do remember the Auburn game, where I was able to make a few plays, make some highlight plays on special teams, had a big hit that game, recovered an onside kick right after that, was able to score a touchdown and kind of put the game out of reach because Auburn was such a rival for us. I remember the film that they showed of them stepping on our tiger eye a couple of years before, and that just, it was in my mind as I'm walking down for the Tiger Walk to, playing Phil Collins, was that picture in my head of them stomping on our tiger eye. And to be able to go into a big-time SEC game, to show up, to make plays in every aspect of the game, and special teams and offense, was a great feeling to me. I think that really showed who I am as a player. Obviously, there were a lot of great moments. I had bigger games, maybe not the same type of quality opponent, but that game really stuck out because it was a part of who I was as a player here at LSU, being versatile and doing different things.
The illustrious career in the NFL as well. Talk about the difference in playing at LSU and then the NFL, the level, the speed of the game, and just the crowd, the atmosphere, etc.
Well, the biggest difference is the crowd. There's nothing compares to being in Tiger Stadium on a Saturday night. You don't get that type of environment, I don't think, anywhere in the National Football League. I was fortunate enough to go to a great team in Tampa Bay, had some great moments, but it wasn't the same. Take nothing away from the fans in Tampa who were great fans, but just this environment kind of sets you up for any big game that you ever had to play in the National Football League. I just remember the confidence that I had going into every SEC game, every championship game, every bowl game, and I just remembered that when I got to the league, and it was just that confidence by playing at LSU that really got me through a lot of tough moments in my career that allowed me to have success.
Let First Choice entertain you. Get a 42-inch flat screen HD TV, audio bar, and Blu-ray player with Wi-Fi for just $19.99 a week. Plus, get a $6 Redbox gift card as long as you rent. Come to any First Choice location for details or go to firstchoicerto.com.
Tell me about it. The kids need braces, I need a root canal, and Dad's old dentures are broken. That means 3 dental appointments all across town. Bobby Bear?
Mom, you need to call Louisiana Dental Center. They see kids and adults and have specialists at every location. They even have Friday and Saturday appointments.
That's great. I'll call him now. But who's gonna do the dishes?
Yeah, I know, me and my big mouth.
The best tires on the road from brands like Michelin, BF Goodrich, and more. 6 months no interest, free oil changes, and the cleanest stores in the industry. All this at 4 convenient locations. We are Skid Marks Tires and Auto Service. Leave your mark.
Louisiana Dental Center, the preferred dental office of the New Orleans Saints and the LSU Tigers. Your dental home team.
Welcome back to Ruffino's Italian Restaurant. Proprietor Ruffin Rodrigue also was a pretty fair offensive lineman back in his day in the late 1980s. He and Derek Panamsky reminisce about the earthquake game against Auburn 25 years ago.
Joined now by Ruffin Rodrigue for our tailgate segment here at the bar at Ruffino's. We're going to talk about something a little different this week when we talk about the tailgating. We're going to talk about a little bit of a wine. A special wine that Ruffin and the guys over here have kind of taken under their roof, bringing in a special wine with a unique name, Ruff.
Yeah, Earthquake, 25th anniversary this year, 25 years of the famous Earthquake game, made famous by a young freshman geologist that left the seismograph on, and when Tommy hit Eddie for the famous touchdown in the back of the end zone, the ground shook. I think jumping up and down was so dramatic that it registered a true earthquake in South Louisiana. And I thought it'd be a good tie-in because I was on the field at the time. In fact, I'm the only one that actually felt the earthquake because I got beat by Ron Stallworth around the corner, and I clipped him at the very last second and gave Tommy that half second to throw the ball because it was my guy that hit Tommy, and I was actually on the ground, so I actually felt it.
And this is one of the great things about this. We talk a lot about football. We talk a lot about history, tradition, culture. The earthquake in Tiger Stadium is something that transcends generations. It transcends. Everybody understands that. That's why I love your perspective on this, because you were on the ground.
Yeah, I was.
Tell me what it felt like.
Well, number one, all I remember was, I think I said the quickest prayer in history, because when I saw Ron's back going towards Tommy, and I just was praying that he didn't. If he had got the sack, I'd have been the biggest GOAT in history. Okay, so he doesn't get the sack. Tommy says, "Oh, I had a lot of time," because I had nightmares after that game of him actually, stripping the ball from Tommy and then getting it and running the clock out. But as fate would have it, Tommy got the ball off, still got hit, and my prayers were answered.
When you think about that play, and that's your perspective of the play, Tommy thinks about the time in the backfield. The fans think about Eddie Fuller in the back of the end zone. Did you see any of that stuff, or did you only see?
I only saw my miss. I knew we had scored because of the reaction of the crowd, and that was it. And that's when I ran over to Eddie. You saw me on the film. That was me coming towards Eddie to congratulate him. But no, I was really worried about my guy hitting Tommy. It was funny.
Tell me a little bit about the earthquake.
It was funny because it didn't happen. Yeah.
It's funny because he caught the ball and you didn't give him
in the film room that week, man, I put my head down and Tommy's with my roommate, and he's like, "Dude, don't beat yourself up." I was like, "Dude, that's way too close." But anyway, it was a fun time.
Tell me about the earthquake wine.
It's from Lodi. It's a Cabernet, and I had it several years ago. They also make a Petit Syrah that I had, and I just really, really liked the wine. And whenever Gallo, which is the world's largest wine company, buys a vineyard, they got something special. And we're selling it like hotcakes. I mean, it's a great, great wine, great story because of the earthquake game, but it's a great, it's a really, really good Cabernet.
When people come into the restaurant here the next couple of days leading up to the LSU-Auburn game, they should get a bottle of this, and you're going to tell them the story, right?
I'm going to tell them the story. And it's a fun story because the story is great because that game propelled us into the SEC championship game. People forget that we went on the road and lost just a heartbreaker to Ohio State the week before, and before that we lost to Florida. And after that we lost to Florida. It was Ohio State first, and we got beat. We were up by 13 points with 2 minutes left, and we lose the game, which is ridiculous. And then the prevent defense prevents you from winning. And Florida was just a debacle. Tommy threw 2 interceptions right at the beginning. It's hot. Emmitt Smith ran all over us, and it was no chance. And then next week, Eric Hill and I, my buddy, got the team together that week, and we said, man, this is do or die. We weren't used to losing on the road like that. We had won all our games on Arnsparger. And this was Archer's second year, and we wanted to prove a point. And we got together, we rallied the troops, and we ended up pulling off the victory. In a very dramatic fashion. Because you got to remember, Auburn is one of the best defenses, maybe in the history of the SEC. Auburn's defense. They had Tracy Rocker, who won the Outland. They had Ron Stallworth. They had Benji Rowland. Quentin Riggins, who's a good buddy of mine. I played.
Andre Bruce on that team?
Andre Bruce was before. I think he had just left. But they were just stacked. Every defensive player on Auburn's team that year played in the NFL. That's how good they were. Yeah. Just an amazing team. And they just got. I think the humidity took its toll on them, and they were pretty spent.
Well, you beat them.
We did beat them.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
The best tires on the road from brands like Michelin, BF Goodrich, and more. 6 months no interest, free oil changes, and the cleanest stores in the industry. All this at 4 convenient locations. We are Skid Marks Tires and Auto Service. Leave your mark.
Toothache.
Gingivitis.
Plaque. Cavity. Tartar. Tooth decay.
Gum disease. Abscess tooth. What's that?
A filling, not a crown.
A bridge? You mean I need a root canal? Come on, man.
The only thing worse than hearing those words is hearing that your dentist can't see you today. Call Louisiana Dental Center, home of the same-day appointment.
For 20 years, First Choice has made your life better with our great selection of brand name furniture, electronics, and appliances at flexible payment plans to meet any budget. And at First Choice, there are no credit checks, no one's refused. Come into any First Choice location or shop online at firstchoicerto.com.
For almost as long as LSU's been playing football, they've also had the cheerleading squad. Jessica Pomeroy takes a look inside the LSU cheerleading team.
The much-anticipated LSU football season is underway. And while the 2013 football team hits the gridiron, they aren't the only team taking the field week in and week out. LSU cheerleading has been a part of school history since the early 1900s, and actually started out with only a couple of males. They later added females into the mix, and now Louisiana State University is home to some of the best cheerleaders in the nation. Nearly 27 years ago, a cheerleading tradition started. Each game, during halftime, the LSU cheerleading squad hosts a lunch for the opposing team's cheerleaders.
Like the last minute of the second quarter, we go into this room inside the stadium, and we're all sitting down eating. We kind of have our tables open, and we all sit at different tables. So when the other team comes in, we greet them and say, "Oh, come get your food, whatever." And then we all mingle at the table together. So we're not just sitting like LSU and the other team. We're all mingling together, and it's so fun because we go to camp with a lot of these teams during the summer. So we get to meet some of the cheerleaders then too. So it's like good friends and people we already know. So it's a lot of fun. And even if we don't know them, they're still so fun and new, so it's great.
The cheerleaders are like a family. Like if you're a cheerleader anywhere, you're part of a family. It's I don't know how to explain that, but once the other team, like we go eat, and then the other team like takes a while to walk over, and once they get in, we all like welcome them and tell them hello. And like we usually know people because of camp, and everybody, I don't know how, but everybody in the cheerleading world knows everybody. So we always just welcome them, and we talk, and we mingle with them and sit down at each other's tables, and it's really fun. Like we get to meet new people, and it's great. So we can talk to them later whenever we see them.
We can all probably agree that Louisiana is best known for its hospitality, which could be the reason why this tradition has stuck for so long, and why more and more cheerleaders are leaving their home to join the Tigers of LSU. Ryan Yakubek came to Louisiana all the way from Washington, and Elizabeth Jutina, although it's not that far, has come here from Alabama.
I've been cheering for 12 years, and I've always grown up around it, so when I was deciding where to go to college, it was just mostly between LSU, Alabama, and University of Central Florida. And so when I came to LSU tryouts, I loved it, and I just committed here after tryouts and loved it ever since.
It was just like no other place before. I'd spent most of my Saturdays in Tuscaloosa. I'm at Bryant-Denny Stadium, but when I came and just experienced the culture and experienced the game day here at LSU, there's just no comparison. Just the people embracing you, and just the atmosphere, and just the passion and the love that people not only have for just football but for each other. And it's just a family here. So once I came, I knew that there was no question about it.
Between the hospitality, the food, the fans, and the football, Jutina has had a change of heart.
Go Tigers, bleeding purple and gold.
Tell me about it. The kids need braces, I need a root canal, and Dad's old dentures are broken. That means 3 dental appointments all across town.
Bobby Abear?
Mom, you need to call Louisiana Dental Center. They see kids and adults and have specialists at every location. They even have Friday and Saturday appointments.
That's great. I'll call him now. But who's going to do the dishes?
Yeah, I know, me and my big mouth.
For 20 years, First Choice has made your life better with our great selection of brand name furniture, electronics, and appliances at flexible payment plans to meet any budget. And at First Choice, there are no credit checks, no one's refused. Come into any First Choice location or shop online at firstchoicerto.com.
Hi, I'm John Burke. Join Derek Panamsky, Jessica Pomeroy, and myself for Sports Lagniappe every Sunday at 10:30 right here on WGMB Fox 44.
Tell me about it. The kids need braces, I need a root canal, and Dad's old dentures are broken. That means 3 dental appointments all across town. Bobby Hebert?
Mom, you need to call Louisiana Dental Center. They see kids and adults and have specialists at every location. They even have Friday and Saturday appointments.
That's great. I'll call him now. But who's going to do the dishes?
Yeah, I know, me and my big mouth.
Let First Choice entertain you. Get a 42-inch flat screen HD TV, audio bar, and Blu-ray player with Wi-Fi for just $19.99 a week. Plus, get a $6 Redbox gift card as long as you rent. Come to any First Choice location for details or go to firstchoicerto.com.
The best tires on the road from brands like Michelin, BF Goodrich, and more. 6 months no interest, free oil changes, and the cleanest stores in the industry. All this at 4 convenient locations. We are Skid Marks Tires and Auto Service. Leave your mark.
Toothache.
Gingivitis.
Plaque. Cavity. Tartar. Tooth decay.
Gum disease.
Abscess tooth?
What's that?
A filling, not a crown.
A bridge?
You mean I need a root canal?
Come on, man. The only thing worse than hearing those words is hearing that your dentist can't see you today. Call Louisiana Dental Center, home of the same-day appointment.
Okay, Charles, first of all, the best game that you ever covered?
Probably the 2007 LSU Florida game was the most evenly played, hard-hitting, exciting, more plays that had the game hanging in the balance than any game that I've covered in Tiger Stadium.
Here's a tough one. Best player you ever covered?
The best player I ever covered was probably Alan Faneca. He was as dominant a player at his position as I have ever seen come through here. And the amazing thing was, I'm doing a piece on freshman linemen. Faneca redshirted as a true freshman and was probably, and Alan Faneca came out now. There was this kind of taboo about freshman offensive linemen playing back then that no longer exists. But that guy was as dominant at his position as anybody I ever saw.
Besides Tiger Stadium, what's your favorite venue of all time?
In the league, Tennessee. That's my favorite place to go and cover a game. I know they haven't been as good in recent years, but there's something unique about the Vol Navy. There's a tremendous amount of tradition there. I think there's a lot of similarities between LSU, Tennessee, and Georgia in the league in terms of where they are in their state, the number of resources they have, the amount of tradition that they have. But game day at Tennessee, when it's at its best, is really something to see.
What would you say is your favorite season that you've covered?
Baseball season. My favorite season was the 2003 season. It was a season I think that LSU fans have been waiting for going on 5 decades. I thought before that season that they could be really good, and obviously that turned out to be a championship season. That was a very mature team. It was remarkably talented, and everything fell right for them. That was a lot of fun to cover and see that a whole new generation of Tiger fans, myself included, see this school win a championship.
Finally, who's your favorite player as a kid?
Tommy Hodson. And I wasn't necessarily a kid. Tommy's only a few years older than me, but when I was in high school, playing high school football, Tommy Hodson was starring here, and I thought he was, when he left here, the best quarterback in the Southeastern Conference. To make first team all league 4 straight years at that position, never been done before, not at this school. And there were some, not only was there a consistency and a coolness to him, but there was the earthquake game. There was the Gator Bowl against South Carolina. There was a time where he bit through his own tongue and went back in the game. I mean, there's some legendary stuff behind Hodson. So he was my favorite player before I got to LSU as a student that I like to watch play.
Thank you very much.
Toothache.
Gingivitis.
Plaque. Cavity. Tartar. Tooth decay.
Gum disease.
Abscess tooth?
What's that?
A filling, not a crown.
A bridge?
You mean I need a root canal?
Come on, man. The only thing worse than hearing those words is hearing that your dentist can't see you today. Call Louisiana Dental Center, home of the same-day appointment.
Louisiana Dental Center, the preferred dental office of the New Orleans Saints and the LSU Tigers. Your dental home team.
The the best tires on the road from brands like Michelin, BF Goodrich, and more. 6 months no interest, free oil changes, and the cleanest stores in the industry. All this at 4 convenient locations. We are Skid Marks Tires and Auto Service. Leave your mark.
Tell me about it. The kids need braces, I need a root canal, and Dad's old dentures are broken. That means 3 dental appointments all across town. Bobby Abear?
Mom, you need to call Louisiana Dental Center. They see kids and adults and have specialists at every location. They even have Friday and Saturday appointments.
That's great. I'll call him now. But who's gonna do the dishes?
Yeah, I know, me and my big mouth.
As a freshman, Jalen Collins stepped into the LSU secondary and grabbed a starting spot. This year, he's an integral part of the Tiger secondary. All right, Jalen, a couple quick questions for you here. First of all, your favorite player of all time?
My favorite player of all time? When I was younger, it was Michael Vick, but since then, I haven't really had a favorite player. So,
Are you a gamer, and if so, what do you play?
Yeah, I play a lot of stuff, but I like Call of Duty.
What music do you listen to pregame? Get hyped up.
Music, I listen to Juicy J, Wale, things like that.
What's your favorite movie of all time?
My favorite movie is The Pursuit of Happiness.
Okay. First of all, talk about the first time you ever went through the tunnel at LSU.
The first time I went through the tunnel, it was like no other experience I've ever had in my life. Blood started pumping and all the fans cheering. It was great.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Hi, I'm John Burke. Join Derek Panamsky, Jessica Pomeroy, and myself for Sports Lagniappe every Sunday at 10:30 right here on WGMB Fox 44.